connection questions, or we call them as paired passages. So what exactly do you do in here? What are you supposed to do here? So you will be having two texts, okay? Those who have already practiced, thank you, Sneha. So sweet of you. Thanks for the bio. Good. So now focus, huh? Focus. Enough with that. Let's focus. All right. So basically, see, we are all you so far. All the questions you got one passage and one question and four options. Okay, but for the paired passages, as the name is subjective, you can easily find that there are two passages, small text one, text two. Your job is to understand the connections between them. Okay, text one says something and text two says something, but there's some commonality between them or some sort of disagreements also. Some, mostly you have to look, most of the text one, text twos, this particular cross text questions works on the disagreement concept. Okay, sometimes agreements also. So you find that one of your option is disagreeing, is reflecting disagreement or negative aspect. There you go. That's your answer. Okay, clear? So we'll work more in detail. So how to answer paired passage questions? So paired passage questions basically work on the disagreement aspect. Okay, the concept is naturally author one says something, author two always have something to poke the author one, right? This naturally happens, especially scientist one has some aspect, scientist two comes up, no, how could that be possible? I have a new thesis or I have a new theory to prove you wrong. That's the only job they like to do, poking each other and in the name of research. Okay, like sibling fights. Okay, jokes apart, let's get back to this part. So how do we work with these paired passages? Simple. Read text one. By the way, you need to read. Here, there is no skipping part. Okay, like you do with your main idea questions, you can skip the meat of that passage. You only have to read the first two lines and the last two lines. But for this type of question, no. You have to read text one and you have to draw some idea or some dumb summary with it. Okay, you will easily identify with the clue words that, okay, this is giving me this idea. Okay, this is the main point of this text one. You write a dumb summary of just in one word. Text two, you will again identify the main idea of text two. Now, as I said, after you write your dumb summary, naturally, you find something is fishy. Somebody's really not happy with each other. So there is an element of disagreement and that you're going to search in your options. Okay. So first, read the text one, write the main point. Text two, identify the main point. Try to come up with a relation between them. So what is one saying to one, what is two saying? Then in your own words, create your dumb summaries and then look out for the choices. Pick the one which is the closest to the disagreement part. Am I clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Put it in the chat box. No doubts, full of doubts and confused. Oh God. No hope for me. Great. Good, Chaitra. Good, Sneha. No doubts. Girls never had doubts. Wonder why. Okay. Mazu says clear. Okay. Mitra is always no doubts. Jyoti, amazing. Good. Now let's move on. Now move on. All clear, all clear. Let's clear up. Okay. Now, there are few things that I want to talk about. Okay. Your correct answers usually, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Your correct answers always, remember the rule, correct answers always surrounds or correct answers most of the time. Okay, answers look for what? Disagreement. Clear? This is your job to look for those words that are talking opposite. I mean, like something negative. That is going to be your answer. But it's not all the time. Okay, sometimes in one or the both passages, they're very good. Like they love each other. They have like their buddies probably or janjigris or something. Probably they can agree. So you should also look for agreement. But most of the time it's disagreement. You can easily find that. Okay, it's not like you have to keep on. There is not a lot of complexity in text one and text two. It's super duper easy, right? Um, and those who are really good, by the way, I mean, like really good with the reading part, try to do this first. And if you're somebody who struggled to understand text ones and text twos, I would say skip this question, complete all the conventional questions, complete all that, finish off everything, then go address this question. Okay, don't panic, don't, like, I'm not getting what the heck is this guy telling. So in that case of not able to get the reading part, just skip this question, finish off everything, then come back. Aram se you can do this. You got enough time if you, but don't waste your time. Right? So correct answers can involve either disagreement answers or agreement answers. Okay. So, but you should not. So, you should definitely read the first sentence here, the last sentence, and also you should look, if you find, okay, if you find any transitions, you know what happens with the transitions? Why are transitions used? To connect two ideas, right? Or to create a more comprehensive, more precise writing. Acha, I'm back, don't worry. Okay, I'm back. Some technical thing. Okay, okay, you can see everything, don't worry, I'm back. We got some technical thing happening here. Small glitch. The word is glitch. Okay. Okay. So what I was talking about, look for the disagreements, agreements, look, read the first sentence, last sentence, and also look closer to the transitional words like however, but, although, even though. Those are again a hint words. Like in the very beginning of our session, I told you transition words play a very important role in creating different, change in the pattern of the text. So if you're finding any of those, circle them, annotate them using the annotational pen. Okay, those tools are available there, inbuilt, use them all. So just before the test day, don't practice all these things. Practice well ahead. Clear? Use all those devices. Okay, so that's the thing about how to work with these paired passages. And by the way, don't eliminate answers until unless you're very certain that this is talking about disagreement with the first text and the second text. Okay, the certainty should be there. So yeah. Now, as we move on, let's look at some questions. So basically, your two passages will be talking about disagreements. Clear? Sure, let's move on. There you go. Try this out. Step one, main point. Step two, find the text to main point. Then write the relationship between those two. Oh, right away he said conclusion. Okay. So they want to conclude on something. What's the meaning of remnants? Yes, what's the meaning of remnants? Hmm. Okay. Yes, exactly. So take time. So if I can draw this, with my great artistic talent, this is the Earth and this is the exoplanet. What does it talk? So small, dense remnants of past stars in order to determine the composition of exoplanets that used to orbit those stars, studying wavelengths of length and width of atmospheres. The team reported the traces of elements such as, okay, lithium and sodium support the presence of, okay. So they found this lithium and sodium supports because of the presence of these trace elements. Trace elements means what are traces of elements, not trace elements. Traces means in very less, They're found not in denser in quantity, but they're just found. Huh? Presence of exoplanets with continental crust similar to Earth. Okay, they have this continental crust, just like your pizza crust. They have some crust. Wow. Okay, good. So Chaitra is already. So remember, if it is positive, okay, option A, if it is sounding positive, eliminate. If it is negative, you're supposed to keep it. Let's say you have two negatives, two of the options are giving you two negatives. First of all, eliminate those options that are giving you positive, I mean, more of an agreement kind of. We don't want agreements. The relationship is not an agreement, by the way. So what did they do here? They already concluded, okay, that certain exoplanets have content. Okay, fine. They have concluded that they have exoplanets had continental crust. All right. Unduly. What's the meaning of unduly? What's the meaning of unduly? Come on, unduly. This is one of your words in context question, by the way. Okay, unduly from the context, if you read, argue that those studies dash emphasize the atmospheric traces. Maybe it can be inappropriate. Unduly means inappropriate. Ah, my spellings. Okay, that's good. Acceptable? Unduly. So who's going with D? No, it isn't. As puzzling because it is unusual. I know. As unexpected because it was widely believed at the time that lacked continental crust. So first identify the main points. What's the main point of text one? That they found some trace of elements such as lithium and sodium that support the presence of exoplanets with continental crust similar to Earth. Got it? Next, so there is presence of continental crust. That's what. And what do text talks about? Two talks about. They're arguing that those studies are inappropriate. So see, there you go. They're arguing, right? So they're not in agreement with the text one. Okay. That's what we have to find the relationship. Now, as you already found that there is a disagreement, naturally, whichever passage or sentence that talks about agreeing saw that gets eliminated. See, what does it talk about as an unexpected? Because as premature, because researchers have only just begun trying to determine. No, as questionable because it rests on incomplete consideration of potential sources of, okay, so inappropriate emphasis of atmospheric traces of lithium and the studies don't adequately account for different minerals. So inadequate, can you just think about C, because it's talking about incomplete consideration of potential sources of elements detected in white dwarf atmosphere. As questionable, right? They're not, one thing they are not agreeing. So definitely it is negative. Definitely it is non-agreement to the task test one or text one. Why? Because text two talks about there is some inappropriateness in this. Okay. Traces of lithium and other individual elements are signifiers of the type of rock found on Earth. What are you talking? Yeah, but that's part of it. You can't simply say that because of the presence of lithium and sodium, it doesn't mean that exoplanets with continental crust are similar. I mean, the text one justifies that because lithium and sodium traces are there, so there is presence of exoplanets with continental crust. But text 2 speaks about, wait a minute, that's not appropriate. How can you conclude like that? Because the basic nature is presence of lithium traces will be there. Okay, because such kind of rocks are found. And the study is not adequately giving an different minerals made up of various ratios. So you cannot simply conclude on because these are there, therefore we can say that there are exoplanets. Yes, Mitra, good. So something is questionable. Clear? Something is like, I don't, so I doubt. How can you say? Simply because you found this, it doesn't mean that that's going to be once for all final. Okay? So C is the right answer. Perfect. Let's move on. You should only look for the, mostly look for the disagreement aspect, okay, between the two texts. Try this out. Pretty long. Relax. Read. If possible, write your own points. First, write what's text one talking about. What is the position of these three characters? Okay, I'll quickly ask after text one, tell me what is the main point of text one. Okay, first let's do in that manner because this looks pretty denser, but we can still eliminate unnecessary will not needed. The concrete physiological effects of fiction on individuals and society were largely matter of speculation. What's the meaning of speculation? Just somebody's thinking maybe, perhaps, could be, and so on, right? So speculation means you're not sure about it. However, research in psychology is beginning to provide answers about how fiction can expand our moral imagination. For example, okay, these three people, what did they find? That fiction measurably improves people's ability to guess others' mental states by looking at only their eyes. Okay. They interpreted this finding as evidence for the idea that fiction, what are fiction, by the way? All those imaginary aspects, okay? That's called fiction. Romance comes under the genre of fiction, right? Something impractical. Poetry also is fiction. Allows people to connect with someone, something larger than themselves. Okay. Good, Sneha. Good. Is it? Hmm. What did I tell you? I used to tell, right? Look out for the pop out words, like big words. Something that are too big, large, extreme words. By pointing out the empathy can have negative as well as positive effects. Okay. C is correct. By acknowledging the importance of connecting, acknowledging is something in the agreement, right? By conceding that fiction can allow people to transcend their everyday lives. Mm-mm-mm. No, Mitra. Imagination is different to speculation. Okay, speculation is probability, uncertain. That cannot be imagination, right? So I asked, my question is, what's the position? What is outlay these three people are doing in the text one? So basically text one, what does text one, after I read text one, I'm not rushing to my answers. First, do this. Step one, what did I tell you? What's the main point in text one? That fiction improves people's ability to guess others. This is my point, main point for text one. Okay. What is my main point for text two? Acha, my two is not working. Great. Yeah. So what did Kid and Castano on text two says? What is their approach? They did 5 experiments in which participants read fictional excerpts, like blurbs they read, and then responded to images of facial expressions. So the previous text talks about eyes. The next text talks about facial expressions. The results showed that participants had improved their theory of mind or their ability to infer the thoughts and emotions of others. Okay, so what does this kid points out? However, wait a minute, there's a change in the story. Highly developed TOM, which is nothing but theory of mind, does not always translate. So you cannot simply rely on the theory of mind all the time to translate someone's emotions or ethical behaviors. So can I say that, are they like, they're saying that they agree that fiction improves people? What is it? What do they infer by this? Do they agree? Yes. Are they agreeing or disagreeing? Fiction measurably improves people's ability to guess others' mental states. And here they're talking about show that participants have improved their theory of mind. Okay. They are agreeing, but they have a negative aspect also. They change the story that, however, it is not always the same. You can't translate this into more ethical behavior. They agree, but there's a change in their thought. Okay, the text too. Here they means Kid and Castano. So your answer is by pointing out that empathy can have negative as well as positive effect. So what do you think? Yes, those who answered C, perfect. That's your right answer. There is no acknowledgement here. Completely outside the topic. Where is acknowledging the importance of connecting with others? That's not the concept. So A can be ruled out because it's completely off topic. Okay. By conceding, what do you mean by conceding? We can't go by the words right now. I'm just trying to highlight this because we would be needing them for our words and context questions. Okay. So try to find the meaning for concede. To concede, CONCEDE, because there will be a question, words and context questions. It's not always, you will get them in your text. I mean, words and context questions. If you know them, it's also good to quickly make conclusions, right? So B is not what we are looking at, of course. By pointing, see, they're agreeing, however, they're disagreeing also. So they're saying they have positive, negative as well as positive effects. So C is the right answer. Is it clear, everyone? Are you getting my point? Read text one, write your main point. Read text two, write your main point of the text one and two. Then you try to draw a relationship. Most of the time, the relationship is disagreement. Sometimes you also have to look for those howevers, those big words, no, but read around them. You will find some negative thought, negative, meaning or negative contextual sentences. That clearly means there is disagreement. You find if the text 2 is actually agreeing to text 1, but somewhere down as you keep concluding text 2, you will find there is disagreement starting up. Okay. So there is agree and disagree within text 2 also. So you should decide based on the given options. Okay. One more here. So after you read text one, tell me what is Priyamvada's belief. Let's go in that manner, right? If you're doing good, yes. So what does it say? We don't need to read all these aspects. Let's directly get to the Priyamvada Natarajan. What is she trying to tell? An astrophysicist. Okay, wait. As its European counterpart, Virgo captured a tremor from pair of black holes. Okay. This is all context. Okay, like you know how they set a context for the hero entry and all that, just like those background elevations and all that. Just like that, just for the reader's understanding. But we will be reading from Priyamvada. So basically, they have captured tremor from pair of black holes merging deep in space. They found something. So what is this Priyamvada talking about? Long worked on black hole growth models, believes that black holes this size are born. Okay, this is what she thinks. Dense collection of stars found in the near galactic center. This is what. This is important for us to, to consider as a main point. Next. Okay, till here. What about text 2? So she believes that these are born from nuclear star clusters. So we have another scientist, like researcher, who's working on hierarchical merger. Okay, not needed. In which black hole. Okay, same thing, same aspect. Grow by eating one another. Oh, so again we have a disagreement. So what did Priyamvada say? They're born in nuclear star clusters, dense collection of stars found. So by collecting, coming together of stars, this so-called black hole is formed. But this so-called researcher says, wait a minute, I have a different thought on this. Black holes grow by eating one another. Focus on one major data point. Okay, all those findings and all. The angular momentum or a spin of all these, all the physiological aspects. I mean, the measurements and the statistics being taken. When two black holes of similar size combine, the resulting black hole usually has a spin. Okay, he is more defined than this is like, a kid telling like a story kind of. No, long ago, two things come together, therefore black hole form. But this guy has every evidence to prove that no, wait a minute, they eat each other. There's angles and all those things. The two black holes involved in the merger recorded. Okay, too much of information formed in. Okay, now let's look at based on the text. What would most likely say about Priyamvada's belief in text one? What is he trying to tell? Huh? Good, Arnavi. Very good. That's the right answer. Anyone? So what do you think? The Imra Batos, this researcher, is most likely telling about Priyamvada's, statement, her beliefs. It underestimates mid-size. There is nothing like underestimation. It misstates the time and no, not at all. It relies too heavily on data from nothing is relying on that. Though there's so much of data, uh, somebody just put up. Okay. Come on, others. Why only one answer I get? It's a very interesting question. Yes, Mitra, good. So what exactly? So she simply put up with black holes of this size are basically born from nuclear star clusters. They're just dense collection of stars that are found near galactic centers. Done. And they're just, clusters come together, adding gas and dust, and they settle in one single location and they cease means to stop. They will not expand. They will stay there near the galactic centers. That's what she believes. But this Emre Batus, he has come up with all those statistics, all the measurements part. So he says, this is as a generic statement about the black holes, but this is more profound, more of research based, ain't it? So it overlooks the significance, a crucial statistic. Yes, these are very important. He has given all the measurements. Good, Lalita. I hope you all got it. None of these work, A, B, C. Only D is the right one. Okay, any layman can easily say this is full of scientific orientation and this is a generic statement. Naturally, for a scientist like Priyamvada Natarajan, astrophysics makes such kind of statements versus not giving any evidence or data. That's gibberish, you know. Scientists are not supposed to give such statements, like generic statements. They're supposed to prove it. That's what Emre Bartos has done, and he tells that it overlooks significance, a crucial statistic. Very good. Next. Good, everyone. Doing good. Long passages, I know, but have patience. That's why I said don't do these until unless you finish all other types of questions. Take a moment. Conventional wisdom. First, understand the main points. Draw a conclusion between these two. Look out for the negative ones. Conventional wisdom long held that human social systems evolved in stages beginning. Okay, and all that may not mean. This is just the context. So quickly come to the point. The shift to agriculture about, okay, population growth that led to emergence of groups with hierarchical structures, association of clans first. What's the meaning of clans? Yes, associations of clans like tribes, like hierarchical clans, dynasties first, then chiefdoms, and finally bureau. Okay, some hierarchical structures. So this is 1, 2, and 3. This is part of this hierarchical system, all 3 of them. So the so-called shift in agriculture actually led to emergence of different groups, and these groups are then classified into with hierarchical structures into 3 of these associations. Next, text 2. Always been socially flexible. Okay. Alternating forming system based on hierarchy and collective ones with this decentralized leadership. Okay. So this is giving a different concept. The author points to evidence that as far as, okay, some hunter-gatherers adjusted their social structure seasonally. Oh, okay. We have disagreement. This talks about shift of agriculture. This talks about the social structures are based on the seasons, dispersing in small groups, but also assembling into communities that included esteemed individuals. Okay. Now, based on the text, how would Dreber and Wengrow of your text 2 most likely respond to the conventional wisdom presented in text 1? Conventional means traditional way. Mazu, are you sure? Why is it D? By challenging, who is challenging whom? Why do they need to challenge? There is no challenge. They're disagreeing. That's it. Poor people, they're just disagreeing to each other. They're not challenging. Huh? By acknowledging that hierarchical roles likely, no. By disputing, yes, they're in dispute. The idea that developments in social structures have followed a linear progression through distinct stages. Linear progression means in a stepwise manner, like this. Okay. Like, let's say this is your graph. This is the linear graph, right? Am I correct? Oh my God, please correct my math. I mean, that's common sense. Linear means this. Correct? Line graph. So the progression was like this, no? Clans, chiefdoms, and bureaucratic states. So these guys are telling, no, they are like, I mean, they are mostly, how are they responding to this so-called conventional wisdom? Okay. They have distributed themselves into these three lines. So by conceding importance of remember one thing, okay? Long, lengthy answers are also negative. I mean, they can be eliminated. Too much verbose. Not always, but 100%, most of the time. Long answers, but see, you have this long passages. Naturally, your answers can also be little more longer, but you can, judge, guess, make educative guess like that. By disputing the idea that developments in social structures have followed a linear progression through distinct stages. Yes, they're trying to tell this idea is not correct. You know, this shift in agriculture led to emergence of groups basing on the hierarchical structures like association. If clans are the larger ones, chiefdoms are small, and bureaucratic states are even more smaller. Based on that, this distribution has been done. This is not the linear way. This straightforward way of distributing is not correct. That's what they're trying to say. They're not challenging anyone for them. That, and nor they're acknowledging anything. They're like, if you acknowledge someone, it clearly means you're trying to praise or you'll try to talk about their great things, achievements, and all those. No, we didn't talk about achievements. Rather, they're trying to dispute. Dispute means disagree. What's the alternate word for disputes? Often happen because of the disagreements. So B is your answer. It takes time. So get into the flow, get through the patterns, then you'll understand. All right, so let's stop this here and let's move on to another topic. Oh, you said B? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mazu. I mean, I must be. Yeah. All right. That's good. That's fine. So we'll move on to the next part of our discussion. Ready? So that would be the next aspect. We are done with the craft and structure, which where it talks about text, the purpose and the structure formation. You have underlined portions asking what exactly is it inferring and all that. Followed by you have this type of questions, which are note completions. No, paired text. Yeah. Now the next one, that's the one which we are going to look into, is expression of ideas. Okay. So we are done with craft and structure. Of course, don't worry, others. We will be repeating all these things. There's an entire whole process repeats again. The cycle repeats again. So don't panic. Ma'am has completed. We did nothing and all that. Don't think about all those. Okay, now this is going to be super interesting. Trust me, I love this because I hardly have to do anything with this kind of questions. You just skip the bullet points, get to the point, read the question, underline what those specific words are asking, check for those answers. Right? So these are the most super duper easy ones. Okay, I would say, and there will be hardly one or two questions here. So you can do this. These are my favorite, by the way, amongst all those. And the reason is very simple because here, expression of ideas under expression of ideas question, you have transitions also within expression of ideas. Those who haven't scored well under this category, please look into it. It has to be the transitions you missed out. You may not properly used your transitional, transition skill based mind. Okay, or the skill you didn't implement. Otherwise, with this rhetorical or note-taking kind of questions, it's now that you can mess up. With transition questions, I'm pretty sure somewhere kuch to gadbad hai. Who's that guy? Daya. You will do some mess up over there. But with this, no, you won't. Trust me, these are very easy ones. So you have to tell every time, every question is easy ones, okay? This is manipulating your brain like that. Right. So first thing first, read the question, skip the bullet points. You have a question, you have a prompt, a proper prompt, and then you have bullet points, and then you have a proper question being asked. Okay. So your job, read the question, skip the bullet points. Come to the point where either the question is asking you in the form of student wants to present or introduce or specify emphasize. When they say emphasize, he actually means very, very specific. Okay, if he says present, you have to look for the general aspect of it. Clear? All right, Mitra, that's fine. Thanks for the trust. Right. I trust you guys will do very well this time. At least you have to. I assume that your guys are going to do very well. So the answers will, you have all the answers in that question itself, because with this, each question comes with the student wants to present, or the student wants to introduce or specify or emphasize. All you have to do is, you don't need to look into the bullet points. They're just for the sake of just just to increase the size of it. That's it. Okay, what are the things that you have to look out in your answers? Like, unlike, whereas. This type of phrases or words you will find for questions wherein you find similarity or comparison. When the question part will have comparison or similarity kind of word, then you will look out for like, unlike, whereas. Okay, for contrast, similarities and contrast, or comparisons and contrast type of question format. And you will also look out for the familiar aspect of it. Let's say the student wants to introduce the author's work to unknown audience. The student, the phrase looks like that. The student wants to introduce the author's work to unknown audience. Remember, when unknown audience want to know about some new guy, naturally they will not be introduced with their surname. They have to be introduced with their full name, isn't it? Should I call you Miss Das, or do you want me to introduce to the class very first time? This is Sudha Das. My name should be known, right? First, otherwise, Das can be thousands of people, but Sudha Das is just one, right? So you should be keeping in this mind, when you find this phrase, the student wants to introduce the author's work or his literature to unknown audience or a new audience. New audience definitely want to know full name. Okay, that's a easy hint. Whichever option gives you with complete information about the author, that's going to be your answer. Okay, only half answers. How do a new audience know who are you, what you do, blah, 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 and all that, right? So unfamiliar and familiar. So familiar means you have to correct answers to those questions that do not contain background information about the person or thing in any question. And unfamiliar audience means people who don't know anything about you. Okay, I don't even know you. But I have to buy you. I mean, I need to buy your work or have to listen to your concert. I should know something about you. Taylor Swift, we know. Miss Swift, still we know who is a Swift. Right? How many Swiftians here? Anyone who listen to Swift, Taylor Swift's music? Of course, it's cringe, overrated, but still I know you guys love, right? All those fictional words. Anyone who listen to Swift music? Sorry, wrong question. Okay. Now, I want you to identify, that's a good question. Wait, let me find. Sort of? Okay. So identify correct answers with the keywords. What did I tell you? Similarity. So you should look for words that, matches to the word similarity. So the student wants to present similarity between dinosaurs and modern birds. And by the way, I have skipped the main points, those bullet points. Basically, they're waste of your read up. You don't need to read anything from them. Read the question, go to the options, look out for the options here, keywords. Here it talks about similarity. Now look for the options here. Which is that option that is, that is like a rephrase to the given focus word. This is my focus. This is my specific focus. Huh? Very good, Mazu. Good, Jyoti. Why? Oh, just because it's a... Why is it not A? Anybody who can explain me why is it not A? Huh? Achha, why is it not D? Fine, I get you. You're smart enough to come up with a contrast. Here they're talking about similarity. How can it be, however? Good with the transitions. But my next question is, why is it not D? D is also very positive. Birds are transcended from theropod group of dinosaurs which contain Tyrannosaurus rex. Is there any similarity here? No similarity, right? You need to focus those words. It does not have the focus word, which is nothing but similarity. But share definitely means alike, same kind of. Okay. Yes, dear. Very good. You all got it correct with the howevers. My question is about D now. Don't get stuck at one point. Move on from there. My question is, why is it not D? As per the explanation is concerned, there is no focused word. My word has to reflect in these options. Then only I can justify that the student wants to present a similarity, means something like shared by many dinosaur species. Let's do one more. Okay, now as I said, just let us skip. This is a full form, full length question for you. But we are going to skip all these things. We are directly going to the point of what's that? While researching a topic, student has taken the following notes. Notes is not of our concern. Emphasize specificity. We have to look for. And what is he talking? The student wants to emphasize variety of materials employed by WIMS to an audience unfamiliar. What did I tell you? Unfamiliar. Somebody is a new one. Okay. So the so-called student wants to emphasize, stress that there is variety of materials employed by the so-called WIMS, maybe an artist, to audience unfamiliar. So what did I tell you with WIMS? Name, name, name. Come on, look for the name, complete details, information, background. We need everything in that option. Can't be B, can't be A. Carrie Mae Wims, okay, the name is there, has been recognized by both. We don't need this. We want to tell something about the artist. Okay. Look out for the variety of material. Variety. C is correct. Why? Diverse. Diverse means variety. Isn't it? Plus, this is about two things we are looking at. One, you have to look out for those phrases. The keywords here is variety of materials, and we have diverse set of what? So she used all this furniture to show puppets, ranging from photos to furniture to shadow puppets. Yeah, I'm sorry, I read the half part. Okay. Now, what about the other part? What did I tell you? Unfamiliar. So, as a new audience, as somebody I don't even know who is this so-called gentleman is, or no, sorry, she's a lady, right? Her. Okay. So, Carrie Mae Wims, who is considered among the most influential contemporary American artists, employs, see, so much of information is given. Here, okay, if I look at D, okay, if I look at D, so this is like as well as voice narration, where is variety of materials. These are not variety of materials, right? Correct? So rest everything is blah, blah, blah. This is the right one. Sounds good, right? See, we are doing it faster than the other center. Didn't I tell this? Oh God, you guys picked up the speed. I knew it. I knew it. So you guys can do very well with this type of questions. Don't worry. Huh? Good. Let's do this. Let's do this. The last question of this session from the reading part. Let's do this. Sounds like some Mazu. Take. Why is it A? See, you are in soup. You lost a score. And then you keep whining about it or ranting about it, huh? I didn't understand. I didn't. You still didn't understand the flow of it. What did I tell you? Present the importance of body language in world's communication. So you should have examples. Present means what? Do you present just like that or will you give examples? Words display a variety of physical and vocal signals when interacting with one another. Like what? In which manner? A is not correct. The position of wolves' tails and ears can reveal, oh, these are examples. This is something they show. Correct? Reveal its status relative to other animals in the pack. So this is a direct clue for the reader. In this way, these wolves show their, status to other animals in the pack. What is a pack? Like a family, okay, family pack, right? Like a pack means like a whole unit. Maybe there are 10 wolves together, 20 wolves. That's called a pack of it. Like a fleet, like a group, one unit, collective noun. So you got it? Hello? Knock, knock. You guys got it? So here it's clearly talking about present, means something that should show the importance of body language in wolf's communication has to be shown. Just like display, because it is talking about present and you're simply writing the keyword, alternate word for it. No, present and display are correct. But how is it presenting in this manner? By showing the tail and ears, position of wolves, tails and ears. Look, if you look at it, you'll find a lot of difference. Guys, you should be interested in National Geographic. You should look out for the Siberian wolves, documentaries. Documentaries certainly enhance your interest towards nature. Number two, the language part. Okay, the kind of narration, because I know most of you have never been to any theater. Theater in sense, not the cinema halls. I'm talking about the drama aspect. So dialogue deliveries, then the pauses they take, that also talks about your taking of commas and all that. Okay. So yeah, so it's very important that you should watch some sort of this kind of, and you should read also to enhance your reading skills. There are many old school people, and I really agree with what they say is reading is something that cannot be like only for the test purpose. Okay, you should inculcate this habit of, yes, hello.